It's really hard to pin people down these days with the amount of noise and the lack of attention. You know, the concept of attention deficit disorder, there's a deficit of the ability for people to focus. A lot of people think that networking is about meeting people and having conversations. That's not necessarily what networking is. Networking is about building relationships. You know, you can network with people all you want, but if there's no trust and there's no communication, you're not really networking, you're just sending messages. So if you're not on LinkedIn adding 20 new connections every single day, you are not prospecting. You are not putting yourself out there and you're not building relationships. You can train the artificial intelligence to know who you are. And this way the AI knows exactly who you are. And if you go in there and you give it all the instruction, it's going to really sound like you and it's going to get you 80% of the way there, which will save you a ton of time.
My guest today is Joe Apfelbaum. Joe has trained over 1,000 companies on how to leverage LinkedIn over the past 3 years, and most recently, how to use AI for business development and marketing. He is a digital marketing expert and the CEO of a marketing agency that has been ranked on the Inc. 5000 as one of the fastest growing private companies in the U.S. He is also the author of 5 books, including his most recent one, High Energy Networking. Joe is the founder of an AI assistant for LinkedIn, a software he developed with his team to help LinkedIn users maximize the platform and save time using an AI that learns your voice and can help craft comments and content. We're going to dive into that for sure. Now, when he's not on stages all over the world inspiring and educating professionals, he spends his time with his 5 children rollerblading and rapping, you heard right, in Hillside, New Jersey. My newfound friend, Joe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Same here, my friend. And I am one to not mince words, as you are not as well. And I want to jump in because I want everybody to learn from your vast experiences. And I think a good place for us to start is high level and in the world of marketing. And want to pick your brain at a high level, and then we'll just see where this goes in terms of this topic. Right off the highest thing I can think of, what's the biggest challenges that marketers face today and how can the industry overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge that marketers face today is the fact that people are very distracted, that their attention is all over the place. It's really hard to pin people down these days with the amount of noise and the lack of attention. You know, the concept of attention deficit disorder, there's a deficit of the ability for people to focus. There's a deficit of the ability for people to pay attention to things. So even if you're giving a good message to them and they want to respond to it and they want to give you money and they want to connect with you and they want to engage with your brand, often they'll get distracted from the multiple screens they're using at the same time. They're watching their TV while they have their phone on, while they're using their computer, and people are in their system. So it's really hard to get the attention of people these days and to retain that attention and the dedicated attention. That's why a lot of people are really focusing on phone calls and in-person stuff these days, because that stuff, you're getting someone's attention. You really, right now we're having a conversation right now. It'll be very hard for you to go off doing other things while we're having this conversation, like checking email or whatever it is. But if we're texting, you could be texting with somebody and at the same time watching a YouTube video and at the same time listening to a podcast and at the same time eating dinner and whatever else you're doing or driving your car.
So how do they overcome this?
Personalization. Personalization is the way to go. So if I know that you're talking to me and me only, you're going to give me your attention. So if a person feels like the DM was really just for them, they're going to give it a lot more attention, especially if it's from someone that they know, like, and trust, than if, think about it. When you scan through your email, do you look at subject lines? I don't look at subject lines. I look at who sent me the email. That's the first thing I look at. So trust is everything, and building relationships based on trust is going to be the key moving forward. And then, personalization definitely builds trust.
It's a great analogy. I hadn't thought of that either. And as you're saying it, I'm going, I look at who sends my emails versus subject lines.
Yeah. People have the best subject line in the world, but if it comes from a random spam account or whatever it is, how's that going to help you? You're going to prioritize your energy. Where focus goes, energy flows, and you don't focus on the content of the message before you focus on the sender.
Exactly. What are some common mistakes you think that brands make when they're trying to connect with their audience?
I think spraying and praying. I think a lot of brands are spraying and praying. They're just kind of just doing the do, hoping for the best. They're playing the lottery. Playing the lottery is fun. Hope is a great thing. It's just not a great strategy. So I feel like a lot of brands are not being strategic enough. They're not breaking things down, segmenting things down. They're not spending enough time planning. Like if you sit down and you want to cut a tree, well, I would say measure 3 times before you cut, because you don't want to cut a bunch of times. You can only cut a tree down once.
Interesting analogy. And is it me or do we, and I'm using we colloquially, seem to say the same things every year about these same mistakes and brands keep making them, or is it just me?
I think that with artificial intelligence, the noise, there's so much more noise now. It's so much easier to make noise with AI. Like you can create 1 million blog posts in minutes. You could create videos and audios and we could do a podcast like this in 3 minutes, have the entire podcast done with AI, with our voices cloned and our avatars and everything all just done. And like, who's going to listen to that? Like who's going to go knowing that a computer generated the whole thing and they're not personalized to the person? Who's going to actually listen to that podcast? Who's going to sit there and take the time to invest the time to listen to a computer generated blah, blah, blah? You might as well just put your head in a washing machine.
Although that could be an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about loyalty. Again, we talk about this again. I used that term this building brand, long lasting loyalty. Is it, how do you do it? How is it different from 5 years ago? That word loyalty, talk to us about that.
Well, it used to be that there wasn't global competition going on. We didn't have global competition. The global market, most people didn't even have internet like in the world. Now the global market emerged. People are coming in to compete with people locally from all over the world. And so competition is fierce. And, you can pay somebody $5 an hour instead of paying your neighbor $50 an hour to get the same thing with the same information, the same technology, the same everything, same service. You can get it for a lot less. So in terms of loyalty, there's almost so much loyalty somebody's going to put to an employee, to somebody local, when the competition is charging 10 times less. Or it's free or whatever it is. So it used to be the loyalty was like, oh, I'm going to be loyal to the people in my neighborhood and I'm going to shop local and whatever. No, now when it's costing you 10 times more, that's just the reality of it. There's only so much money you have to be able to be loyal. And the other thing I would say is loyalty around, it used to be that, people wouldn't have options. Like they didn't have all the different options that you have now. Besides competitors, they have different options, different ways of doing things. And so it's like, all right, well, I want to be loyal to your brand, but people don't do things anymore. Like SEO is not going to be a thing anymore soon. Search engines are going away. There's ChatGPT search right now. Like that's where things are going. So people that were loyal to Google search, it's like, how quickly are you going to be able to switch your browser on your cell phone? Like if someone comes up with a new browser that's 10 times better than Google Chrome, how quickly will you change your browser? Goodbye, loyalty. Loyalty's gone. Because innovation is here. When a robot comes to your house and starts cleaning your house for you, how loyal are you going to be to your cleaning lady or to your cleaning crew? How loyal are you going to be? When your car starts driving itself and it's doing all your chores for you and picking up your kids and whatever, all automatically, how loyal are you going to be to Ford that when you bought a Ford all the time and Ford doesn't offer that? Goodbye, Ford. Have a good day. So it's all about convenience, really. But there is a concept of loyalty, of not giving up on people, especially when you have a relationship. And so figuring out how to build that relationship with people and at the same time giving them what they need is going to be the key.
I think inherent, and you tell me your thoughts, inherent in the word loyalty is also the word trust. And I think it's easier. Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the word. You tell me your thoughts about it.
I don't know. I don't know if loyalty, sometimes you're loyal to someone that you don't trust. It's like, you could be loyal to somebody and you're like, I'm loyal to that person, but I don't trust them. Like you could have that concept of like, I'll be loyal, but I'm gonna check twice. I'm gonna buy from you, but I'm gonna count my change twice before, because I don't trust you, but I'm loyal to you because you're loyal to me. So you could have a lack of trust with somebody and still be loyal to them. Loyalty means that you are, even if it's inconvenient, you're willing to stick it through. You're willing to be with them. You're willing to take one for the team sometimes because you're loyal. If you didn't need to take one for the team, then the loyalty doesn't matter. But trust means, am I willing to take a risk not to double check? Am I willing to take a risk and give it to you even though I know that you can fail? Because if there's a guarantee, then you don't need trust. Trust means I trust that you're going to do your best, not that I trust that you're going to guarantee to give me everything fully. Because if there's a guarantee, there's no trust needed. You don't need to trust when there's a guarantee. I don't need to trust you. I have a guarantee. I have insurance. Like, I don't need to trust you. There's no trust needed here. Like I'm 100% guaranteed I don't need a trust. The thing is, you need trust when there's no guarantee. When there's a likelihood of failure and I need trust because I'm giving you the money and there's a chance I won't see the money again. So I'm trusting you that you're going to do whatever you can to protect that money. And so you could be loyal to somebody and not need to trust them because there's a guarantee, or you could be loyal to somebody and not trust them, or you could be loyal and trust. But I think those two things might be a little bit different. Some people interchange the two together and saying, oh, I trust him because he's loyal. Loyalty will breed trust.
But does it go the other way?
Not necessarily. I mean, it could go one way, but not the other necessarily.
Right.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
No, it's an interesting dynamic that I hadn't looked at it through that lens before. So I can see both sides. I'll put it that way.
People do business with other people that they know, they like, and they trust. If someone doesn't know you, they're not going to do business with you. If someone doesn't trust you and like you, they're not going to do business with you. I would say it's more likely that somebody would be loyal to you if they like you rather than if they trust you. Sometimes you have that boss that you don't trust at all, but you really like the boss. He means well, but you don't trust him. He says he's going to come, he never shows up. But you're still going to be loyal to him, even though you don't trust him to show up. You're still going to stay. You're still not going to quit your job and go to the competitor. You're still going to be loyal, but you don't necessarily trust that you're going to get your paycheck at the end of the week.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a fascinating topic. We could go down a lot of different rabbit holes, for sure. But I want to move on to another topic I know is near and dear to your heart, and that's networking. I want to start with very high level again. How does Joe define the term networking?
I believe that there are three parts to the word networking. There's the net, the work, and the ing. The ing, the ing is the ing, but the key is the four-letter word in the middle, work. Networking is work. It means building relationships and focusing on giving first. The secret to living is giving. So I believe that when you figure out what other people need and you give them what they need, you can get anything you want in life when you give enough people what they want. So stop focusing on taking and stop focusing on being transactional, but instead build yourself a network around you that you can be a center of giving, a conduit of blessing, and networking starts happening and starts working. A lot of people think that networking is about meeting people and having conversations. That's not necessarily what networking is. Networking is about building relationships. A relationship is when you have something to do with somebody in a way where you're either adding value or you're making an introduction or you're sharing information, and you can rely on that network and that network can rely on you. That's what networking is about. It's about doing the work to have a reliable group of people and resources and communities where you can build those relationships based on trust and making sure that people are responsive to you. You can network with people all you want, but if there's no trust and there's no communication, you're not really networking. You're just sending messages.
Yeah, I mean, I'm could not agree more. I am living proof, I think, like you, of the power of giving versus taking when it comes to relationships. And then that it just comes organically is the networking.
And people are reciprocal. And people are reciprocal automatically.
Yeah.
Human beings are reciprocal. So if you need to just focus on what you can control, which is the giving part. And once you start giving, you start seeing the benefits of it automatically. It's almost like when you can't force a plant to give you fruit. It's not going to work. What you need to do is you need to give it sunshine and you need to give it water. And if you give it enough sunshine, water, and love, it's gonna, if you have the right plant, if you're doing it to the right plant and you know what plant you're feeding, you're going to get fruit over the period of time. And it's pretty predictable. Now, sometimes the fruit won't work. Sometimes it'll be rotten. Sometimes Sometimes you will build an allergy to that fruit. There's a lot of things that can happen. But bottom line is, if you put in the work, you're going to be able to eat the fruits of your labor.
So you mentioned, and I agree with you, by the way, that when most people hear the word networking, they think of events.
Because they're scared of it. Because they're scared of networking. People, networking is the same like public speaking. 90% of people would rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy. People are afraid of it. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you say then to the introverts out there? I can't do this.
Introverts versus extroverts means where you get your energy, not whether or not you can talk to people. All human beings are capable of building relationships and talking to strangers. I mean, every person you know in your life, including your parents, are once strangers to you. Maybe you came out of your mother, but your father was a stranger. For some people, your father's still a stranger. The key is that every single person in your life once was a stranger, even if you're an introvert. So if you need to get your energy recharged from being alone, then go do that. But stop making excuses and telling yourself that you're introverted and you can't meet new people. Everyone can meet new people. You just have to learn the skill of how not to be an awkward idiot. You need to learn how to be able to build rapport. You need to learn how to ask good questions. You need to learn how to have the courage. You need to learn how to get over your anxiety and to take a deep breath and realize that it's never easy in the beginning. But if you know you're damn good at it, even if you're an introvert, you're going to do it occasionally, strategically, in a smart way. So go get a coach. Go read a book like High Energy Networking and learn how I used to be afraid of networking, but my excuse wasn't that I'm an introvert. My excuse was many other things. I had a whole list of excuses. We all have reasons and excuses for why we don't have what we want in life. But excuses are drugs. They are addictive. Say no to excuses and say yes to taking massive action.
I too was very shy. A lot of people, I'm sure when you tell people that story, they go, get out of here.
They don't believe it. Yeah, people don't believe it. Be like, there's no way in hell that Joe Apfelbaum was shy. The guy that gets up and does the best elevator pitch in the room. The guy that gets up and speaks for 10,000 people. There's no way that Joe was shy. But the truth is, I was afraid. I was shy. I thought I was an idiot. I didn't believe I had any value. And because of that, I didn't think other people saw value in me. If you don't see value in yourself, other people are not going to see value in you either, because you show up with confidence. The word confidence, you mentioned trust earlier. The word confidence, to confide, means to trust. If you don't have confidence, if you don't trust in yourself, if you don't trust in your soul, if you don't trust in your value, if you don't trust in your gut, in your heart, in your mind, if you don't trust that you have the audacity to breathe and to exist and have value for just existing and being in someone's life, then you're going to show up with a lack of trust. And if you don't trust yourself, other people won't trust you either. Why would I trust you if you don't trust yourself? That's what I want to know.
That's it. That's it. That's the mic drop. That's it. Great stuff. I love it. New topic, very near and dear, again, to me. But again, I think the word gets misconstrued or different connotations is prospecting.
There are 3 different things you can do on LinkedIn. You could do networking, you could do marketing, or you could do prospecting. What is prospecting? When I say the word prospecting, how would you in one sentence describe prospecting?
Hey, sorry for the interruption. We're going to get back to our show in one quick second, but stay with me. If you're in the need for anything SEO and or link building related, you need to do yourself one quick favor. You need to go to the website that's on the screen right now, stanventures.com. Go there, tell them Steve-O sent you. The rest will take care of itself. Trust me. You can thank me later.
Well, I can tell you as I was preparing for this, when I go, boy, when I hear that word, I think of the Old West and gold rush and the old prospectors, right? But I know that's not, obviously, that was my word association, right? But
the word has more to do with your goal. But tell me what it means to you in a sentence.
What prospecting means to me is finding the right people who can add value to what I'm bringing to the table, add value to my life, my work, and I can reciprocate accordingly.
The way that I look at the difference between prospecting, networking, and marketing is that networking is I'm looking to build relationships. I'm looking to give. I'm looking for people that I can give things to and that can give things to me. Mutually beneficial win-win relationships. Marketing, I'm looking for people that need awareness about my product or service. I'm marketing. I'm putting myself out there. I'm creating awareness. People are getting to know what I have. They're building trust in me. They're getting in my funnel. I'm marketing to them. I'm creating a market for my thing. Market for my thing. Prospecting is a little different. Prospecting is where I'm looking for people that I would like to qualify for where I can add value to them and they can buy my products or service. That's the idea. So I'm looking for prospective clients. They might not have the need right now. They might not be qualified, but I am prospecting for prospective clients. I mean, I'm hunting. I'm going out there and I'm looking for people that can benefit from knowing about my product or service and that I want to qualify and ask them questions to determine is now the right need? Do they have a budget? Are they the decision maker? And is the timing correct? Called BANT, B-A-N-T. If you can go through that process with someone from a trusted advisor standpoint, you're a great prospector. A prospector is not sitting there and selling anything, but a prospector is investigating to determine if this person who happens to be the most ideal client for me is also qualified right now? Or do I need to keep nurturing this person that I'm prospecting to determine when the right time will be or when they'll have the budget or when the right decision maker will show up or if they can push me in the right way so that I can identify and overcome objections? Prospecting is not necessarily closing anything. It's more opening doors.
Right. Since you mentioned nurturing, How can businesses or individuals for that matter find that right balance between prospecting new clients and nurturing existing ones?
I would say the balance would be, how many conversations are you having every single day? That's the balance. The balance is, if you're not having enough conversations, use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the world's largest professional social network. Most people have their first name, last name, company name, their headline, their about section. They have where they work now, where they worked before, where they went to school, where they went to school before. You have mutual connections. Often people will have their cell phone number on there. I just called a guy in France this morning. I was on LinkedIn Live. I saw his cell phone number. He connected with me. I picked up the phone and called him and had a great conversation with him. I sent him a demonstration video. The guy's clearly a prospect for me. So if you're not on LinkedIn adding 20 new connections every single day, you are not prospecting. You are not putting yourself out there, and you're not building relationships. So what I always tell people is, if you have enough business, then focus on nurturing. But if you don't have enough business, spend at least 80% of your time going out there and building a list, going out there and building relationships with people. It really depends on your role, and it depends on how many people you already have. So I would say is, if you're in the early stages and you don't have a massive list of clients and potential clients, then focus the 80-20 rule. 80% of your time prospecting, 20% of your time nurturing. You want to make sure that your nurturing is easy. So use artificial intelligence. We have a AI for LinkedIn called Evie AI that makes nurturing super easy. So you'll take your prospects, add them to a list. In that list, you'll identify which prospects are posting, and then you use Evie AI to leave comments on their particular posts. What you'll also do to stay top of mind is that you'll go to our idea generator. It'll come up with lots of ideas about what you should be posting about. You click one button, it'll write you a hook, main points, call to action, and hashtags. And you can try it for free at evyai.com. It just makes life so much easier when you're nurturing leads. Again, 80% of your time do outreach, 20% of your time go deeper with people by leaving comments. Even just 15 minutes a day. You can leave 5-10 comments in 15 minutes and build relationships with people. You can post something in 2 or 3 minutes, and you can send 10-15 direct messages to people you're already connected to. But prospecting is about getting on the phone, building relationships, getting to know people, and learning about them. Set a goal. And once you hit your goal, focus on nurturing. For example, a goal could be, I want to have 20 prospecting conversations every single week. And if you don't have those booked, spend your time, 80% of your time prospecting. Once you get to that and you're booked this week, next week, and the week after, then focus all 80% of your time on nurturing.
So you mentioned the new, I think it's relatively new, right? The AI assistant you have. Can you expand on that? Because I want people to really understand what it does.
It's very simple. I always tell people, if you don't have an assistant, you are an assistant. And so you need to get an assistant, a sales assistant, a networking assistant, something to help you all the time. So you might have writer's block. You might not sure what to write on LinkedIn. We have an idea generator and a post writer. If you go to evyai.com, you can get started and use it. This will help you be able to write posts, write topics that really resonate with your target market. You can train the artificial intelligence to know who you are. And this way, the AI knows exactly who you are. It knows your tone, it knows your voice, it knows your background, your history. And you can even give it specifics around how many words it should use, what type of words it should use, what types of words it should avoid using. And if you go in there and you give it all the instruction, it's going to really sound like you, and it's going to get you 80% of the way there, which will save you a ton of time. Same thing with leaving comments or replying to direct messages. The AI will read the post, draft a comment, and then you could decide if you want to use it, regenerate it, or even we have a microphone inside the comment box on LinkedIn. So when you install the Google Chrome extension, we added a microphone to LinkedIn where you could just push a mic and start talking, and then you can have it rewrite what you said, or you can just post what you said. That's a very powerful platform. We have templates that you can add. You push a button, it'll inject a template. If you want to use templates instead of using AI, you don't have to use AI, but Evie AI is a great assistant that will give you what you need when you need it. I really built it for myself, but I have 15,000 people using it in 37 countries around the world.
One more time, where do they find it?
evyai.com. evyai.com.
Got it. Let's take a step back on AI in general. And I talk to marketers and CMOs all the time, and that term, that little 2-letter acronym carries so much weight across the board. I almost sometimes, Joe, do a word association with people and say AI marketing, what comes to mind? Like for you, I'd love to just AI and LinkedIn or AI and social. Like what comes to mind in your mind when you hear AI?
I think of robots. I think of automation. I think of things happening on its own. I think of, for me, artificial intelligence is the future. It's where everything is going. Is a whole new level of intelligence. It's not real intelligence. It's computer intelligence. It's not like your intelligence in your head, but we might all be a simulation. You might be an AI. I don't know, Steve. I might be an AI. We don't know. We don't know if our consciousness is watching a simulation and our body's a simulation or we're real. But AI is here for us to improve our lives. For me, it's just it's technology. Like when I hear AI, I'm like, oh, they have technology. That's what I hear. It's like, oh, we used to have a fax machine. That was technology. That wasn't very smart technology, but it was technology. We have cars now. Our cars have AI in them. They've had AI for many, many years. The airports, the airplanes, everything has AI in it. So AI is really technology to me.
Interesting. Well, my friend, I knew this time would fly by and you did not disappoint. What an amazing conversation. I can't thank you enough for your time today.
Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Hey, I'm the guy from the video you just saw. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Now do yourself a favor. If you haven't already, subscribe to our content. Believe it or not, unconfirmed rumors and reports, you will see an increase in 20% in organic traffic just by subscribing. Okay, maybe not, but it's fun, right? But do yourself a favor, really. Subscribe to our content. You won't be sorry. Thanks.